Come back home to Africa. She's calling your name the wind. Come back home to Africa. The family and the are waiting for you once again.
Greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. All is truly and indeed a blessing if you can just see beyond the veils. Come on in, welcome, welcome, and come on in.
Come back home to Africa. She's calling your name the wind. Come back home to Africa. The fatted calf and golden ring are waiting for you once again. Coming back to you. I'm longing for my family. Coming back to you. Out of bondage in that land.
Alafia, come on in. Welcome, welcome this Monday. Come on in. Hey, Leo. Hey, Leo. Yahuru Waku. Yahuru Waku. Habaragani. Jumbo. Jumbo. Aquaba. Aquaba. Kedu. Kedu. Bawani. Bawani. Eshu Alekbuana Kosi Were Awo Onlo Uto Ni Iwo Ada Afanbo Osi Obatalami Itani Ebo Onilio Abani Shu. Eshu is the respected elder who flogs, confronts, and uncovers fools. That one versed in mysteries uses truth to own you. He causes scatter to feed poverty. Obatala shakes rascals to have sacrifice. The owner of warnings is the one who is Eshu, Aboru, Aboye, Aboshishe, Ashe. May our Ebo reach our rune. May our Ebo be accepted. May our Ebo allow what we desire to come to pass. And so we say Ashe and Asheo. Divine, all blessed peace and love, joy and prosperity, elevation, revelations, and divine manifestation. You are now sitting live with the DivinePrince, Pan-African Spiritualist, Practitioner, Author, and Advisor, Elagun Oloye Hoodoo Obeya Bokur, Godparent, Pan-African Spiritualist, Practitioner, Author, and Advisor, Elagun Oloye Hoodoo Obeya Bokur, sharing with you in all things spiritual, mystical, metaphysical, cosmic, universal, evolutionary, revolutionary, healing, and holistic from a Pan-African Hoodoo world spiritualist perspective. Understanding that all is truly and indeed a blessing if you can just see beyond the veils, for it is all just an illusion and a test and one of the greatest divine mysteries of this life cycle. This is indeed my constant prayer, my mantra, affirmation, reverberation, reiteration, and it is my ever-living reality. All is a blessing is crucial to the very foundation of my inner standing, my teaching, my walk, my work, ultimately my demonstration along this divine, all blessed life path and journey. It is how I, the Divine Prince, make sense out of all that we're challenged with here in our daily existence on Mother, Father, Earth. And it is my personal place of power and understanding, the place from where I begin, the place from where I realize and crystallize all my endeavors, understanding that I and I alone create and co-create my divine destiny, and I alone create and co-create my divine, all blessed reality. And so it is. Ashe. Greetings and salutations, beloved. This Monday, March 7th, 2022, I am indeed emanating and vibrating with you and for you now, live, virtually, verbally, cosmically, quantum universally, from this working temple of the house of the Divine Prince. Thai Potions, Hoodoo Central, in this legendary, historic, beautiful, and most enchanted city in America, New Orleans, Louisiana, the land of my ancestors and those who came before me along this spiritualist Voodoo Obeah life path and journey, passing down the great Obeah stick, along with the knowledge of that life-giving herbs, roots, plants, rituals, spirits, minerals, and indeed the legacy, culture, and traditions, the history of our sacred stories, understanding that indeed spiritual knowledge and power lies not in its ability to be recited, regurgitated, repeated, performed, spit, spoken, but in its efficacy and its ability to produce and manifest powerful, reliable, tangible, lasting manifestation and results right here and right now in this most present moment in time space. All else is vanity, all else is ego, all else is just an illusion. So I pause and I breathe, and I invite you to breathe and to breathe again, and to remember that it is indeed the creation of sacred space that is critical to all that we do, who we are, who we be at any given moment in time space. But most certainly, this most present moment in time space is all that we have. The past, yesterday, is just a dream, it's a memory. The future is just a dream, an illusion, imagination. All we truly indeed have is this right here, right now moment in time space. Any opportunity to affect the past, the future, lies in what we do, say, create, and recreate in this most present moment in time space. Understanding that the Black woman is God. The Black woman is God. Indeed, the Black woman is God, and therefore we are all born divine. We're all born human. We're not all born mature. We're not born adults. We're not born masters and with a black belt and degree, but we are here to learn, to grow, to expand, to take a journey, if you will, through this illusion of a physical plane existence. Indeed, it is an illusion. Where are my science students? Where are my quantum metaphysics students out there? Where are my optically educated medical students out there who understand the illusions of light and darkness and shadow and illumination? And so we indeed have the opportunity in each and every moment to create and recreate a reality that mirrors our best interest. that indeed mirrors where we're going, who and what we're becoming. And so I'm always grateful for this opportunity to share with you at high noon, US Central Standard Time, and whatever time it is in your location in the world. Do you just want to talk about it? Do you just want to listen to it? Or are you really indeed ready for powerful, life affirming, transforming, lasting results and manifestation? I stand on result oriented work, stand on it, swear by it. And indeed, the ancestors whose mighty shoulders we rest upon, who elevate and lift us up level by level, indeed have our back, have our front, have our sides, for they exist in the very DNA coding of who we are. It's not hoodoo, it's not high magic, it's science, it's biology, it's chemistry. Our ancestors are our front line of defense, are our first line of defense. Indeed, they have had a human incarnation. They know the goods, the bads, the ups, the downs of human life. And so, therefore, because they are in our blood, in our DNA, a part of our lineage, they seek our best interest when we allow them to direct us, to lead us, to guide us. And so, I am, again, always honored and grateful to be with you and those of you who take time out of the middle of your day to be present here at high noon for the Power Lunch, Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes. No more playing church. No more playing church. Okay, about as fashionable as those naturals, about as fashionable as those dreads, about as fashionable as those beads, and those and that white attire and clothing. Okay, come on in and live this demonstration, walk this demonstration. I'm certainly grateful for Alexis Williams. Come on in, beloved. Welcome. Shamafia Rothschild, beloved. Thank you so much for always being with us here at high noon, U.S. Central Standard Time. Compassion and mercy, greetings and salutations to you and yours. Craig Burns, thank you so much. Greetings to you and yours. Dr. Pluto, welcome, welcome. Come on in from the east. Come on in, travel from the east. S. Marie, greetings and salutations. And if you didn't see, I have created a new platform, and it is a Black-owned platform owned by Isaac Hayes III. Fan base, fresh out the box, fresh out the womb, brand new platform, brand new. Uh, After you go in there and you follow and subscribe and like me, I want you to check out Snoop Dogg. His page will give you an idea as to how new this platform is. So I predict it's going to outpace TikTok. It's going to outpace Instagram um, in less than a year. I predict that. So please go and like, subscribe, follow all that good stuff. Send me the hearts on fanbase.app/the Divine Prince. I certainly will follow back all who follow and support me. Once you get in there and understand the dynamics of this site, you might very well understand the power and the benefit of following, liking, and throwing up those red hearts. Unlike any other site, trust me when I tell you, unlike any other site. So go and check it out, fan base. Go and check it out. I want to talk about a topic that we've talked about and covered in a multitude of ways over the years. And I like to bring it fresh and new and differently each time we meet at the crossroads of this particular subject matter. And I want to talk about wealth and health. And the reason I put those two words together, because those two words belong together. They practically mean the same thing if you understand the meaning of the words wealth and health. Some would say your wealth is your health. For indeed, no matter how much resources you have, what good does it net us? Does it benefit us when we don't have our life, health, strength to operate at the best of our capacity? And certainly those of us who experience uh, disabilities, handicaps, which I think is a bit of a taboo word now, find ways to operate in what we have and make best use of what we have. But from a more universal perspective, health and certainly mental health are synonymous with one another. What good is your body if your mind ain't right? What good is having a strong, healthy, youthful, energetic vessel if your emotions are all over the place, if your mind is all over the place, if your inner world is scattered, detached, among other states of being? So wealth and health indeed starts in the mind. That powerful word ori in the Yoruba language, culture, and tradition. Ori speaks to the head, speaks to the consciousness, speaks to that part of us that is divine, that is closest to God, that is closest to our perfected self, that does exist and operate from the higher vibratory rates that we have access to, the higher vibratory ciphers that we have the ability as both human and divine to tap into. In Voodoo, we speak of La Betet, to wash or to cleanse the head, and particularly coming in to the tradition as a critical part of initiating into a tradition, as a critical part of many ceremonies within the tradition. There will be some form of La Betet. Uh, Lukumi speaks of rogation of the head that takes place. You've heard me reference uh, over the years transcendental meditation as one of my favored tools outside of initiated systems, outside of systems that can be costly. I often reference crystal, clear, quartz, uncut, unpolished, quartz crystal points, clusters, double terminators, etc., generators, natural generators, not the polished man-made versions. And certainly optical calcite. Optical calcite, it looks a bit like an ice cube, naturally, like an ice cube. They grow in cubical form. They're almost completely clear. And when you lay the optical calcite on text, for example, you get a double refracted image of the text. We spent 4 hours talking about this on Fanbase last night, by the way. So y'all might want to download that Fanbase app with the quickness and come on in. Yeah, we talked about this for over 4 hours last night on Fanbase. Lively room, um, mixed group, but a large portion of women um, and transgendered individuals were in the room. And of course, I welcome all to my sacred spaces. And we talked about working with crystal and then transcendental meditation. Transcendental meditation helps you to understand what meditation is and then how to do it, from not just sitting still and being quiet and learning how to silence, the many levels of voices that meet at the crossroads of our consciousness, the intra and interdimensional crossroads of our consciousness. But learning circular breathing, learning creative visualization as an important tool in transcendental meditation. And of course, your crystal amplifies that energy, multiplies and clarifies and purifies and brings light to that energy, and particularly to shadow based energy. So I want to talk about that in a little more depth. And for those of you who were here early for the 11 o'clock US Central Standard Hour, um, did extraterrestrials genetically engineer human beings? When we look back in the creation stories of the Aboriginal and Indigenous world, there are all sorts of stories and myths and limericks and realities and visuals that speak to some degree of extraterrestrial intervention in humanity. Some would even suggest our consciousness, indeed, this story, this higher evolved uh, jello mold we have inside our skull, kind of sets us apart, as far as we know, from other living things and beings here on the planet. Some would argue, the consciousness of animals, cats and dogs and birds, and indeed some insects. But certainly the idea is not new of just consciousness itself being somehow an import from another dimensional space that we have yet to fully comprehend and understand. Creationism and evolution are two popular theories of how humankind came to be. While they are perhaps the most widespread theories, there is, of course, that school of thought that humans were created by extraterrestrials. And it may sound far fetched to some of you at first, but arguably no more so than creationism or evolution for that matter. Some researchers, like Zachariah Sitchins, believe extraterrestrials genetically engineered humans to work as slaves. Others, like David Icke, hypothesize extraterrestrials are even more diabolical and have manipulated human consciousness to control the entire world. So we could easily hypothesize the misunderstanding of good and evil, that dark angel that sits on one shoulder and the light angel that sits on the other, could have a much more older origin in our human consciousness than religious texts of a relatively new era. Former sports broadcaster turned researcher David Icke conducted extensive research on the role of extraterrestrials playing in human engineering and human evolution. Icke adamantly claims an extraterrestrial species known as the reptilians control our world. These menacing creatures allegedly have the power to shapeshift and take human form and have assumed the forms of political leaders to maintain global control. Reptilian like figures are prominent in many ancient texts. The serpent in Genesis, the Garden of Eden, which, if we believe the story, spoke and communicated and manipulated and directed traffic, if you will. The half bird, half snake Mesoamerican god Quetzalcoatl and Greek mythology's Medusa are all great examples. These reoccurring themes of god-like reptilians could potentially indicate these creatures have been on Earth throughout human existence and perhaps played a role in creating us in the first place. Another theory explores the idea that extraterrestrials manipulated our DNA to create a mixed bloodline on our planet. Now, the most notable piece of evidence to support this theory is something called the RH factor. The presence of the RH factor in human blood makes the blood type positive, while its absence makes it negative. Most people are RH positive, and only 15% of the population does not have the RH factor. The RH can be attributed to other species, specifically primates. The absence of it continues to remain a mystery. However, some believe it stems from extraterrestrials. Most alien abductees are RH negative. Is this a coincidence?